Howdy folks, it's Meandering Mike in the man cave of madness. It's just before midnight. We're finishing up turn 10. Turn 10 represents 71080 to 785. We have done the first portion of the turn all the way up through the Scots and the Irish. So we're ready to do the Utes, Saxons, and Angles. Next turn, turn 11, the Danes are arriving, as are the Norsemen. The Saxons can get a leader. Let's see here. What does it say? Egbert. Saxon leaders. Okay, the Danes will be raiding when they first show up. All right. The Norsemen are showing up, but they're not raiding. They are coming as invaders, it looks like. But the Danes are raiding. All right, so that's next turn, turn 11. Everyone's scoring points this turn, so let's start with the Utes and get straight to it. So, bump, Utes, same as turn 7. It's 2 for Kent, Essex, Sussex, Wessex. I don't think they want to pick on the Saxons. Again, still, they can get 2 points for here. They can keep trying to stay alive. They can get those same points again on turn 13. Send it at the end of the game, turn 16. Potentially, if they can just squat there and get their 2 points a turn, they're good. You know, maybe at some point when the Danes arrive in force, they might try some shenanigans. But let's do their growth. 1.5 points. They had none saved up. So 1.5 points. So they will get an army next turn. That will be their max. They're at 4 now. The Ute army size cap is 5. Yeah, that's it. They're just going to squat. Just doesn't make sense from the adventuresome at this point. So, the Saxons. All right, turn 10. Now, points are a little bit different than turn 7. They don't have any big point like Essex worth 3. They don't have anything like that. But Avalon, Downlands, Essex, Huis, Sussex, and Wessex worth 3. So Downlands is actually worth 2 points. Irish already have Avalon. So Downlands, Essex, Huis, which they already occupy as the Saxons, Sussex, and Wessex. So that's 10 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Kent's 1.5. They're leaving that to the Utes. Cornwall and Devon, that's in the Irish hands. March is currently in the Anglo hands. South Mercia is in the Saxon hands. Norfolk is in the Saxon hands. Suffolk is. So 1, 2, 3. So they already have what was that? 13 points. Yep, 10. 1, 2, 3, 13 points. So they could go after March. They don't get any points for North Mercia. None. So there's that Angle leader there. They could do that to be mean or something, but it just doesn't score many points. Now, do note that on turn 13 in the future, their points for territories goes way down. They get 1 point for each English, excluding Galloway, Lothian, and Cumbria, and Britannia. But they could take Devon and Cornwall, but there's no 2-pointers or 3-pointers or anything like that. So this is their big time to score. And right now they're on track to get 13 points. They could potentially take March for another one. Let's do it. All right, so growth. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 points. Let's double count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. They have saved up 2.5. That's 9, 10. They can grow 3 armies and have a point left over. Wow. All right. 3. Now, one thing to remember is when you're growing, you need to spread it out. Normally you put only 1 per area. Not supposed to grow 2 in an area until all the other ones have grown. And the only exception is like if you're too tightly fitting in there, you know, which doesn't normally make sense. You wouldn't be growing that much if you're that tightly fit. So anyway, boy, maybe they do want to pick on that. They take that. That's So the Danes are coming. The Danes are showing up in the Frisian, right? 11 Danes. Turn 11. No. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there's 2 sets of 4 Danes. There's 6 Norsemen in the Icelandic. Way up there. Way up there. The Danes have 2 sets of 4. 4 in the North and must raid, 4 in the Frisian must raid. So here and here, obviously they could go either way. They could hit that. Let's grab the Dane card. It's floating off here somewhere. Excuse my reach. Oh, no, knock the camera over. All right. So they can score rating points. Next turn. Is there any limitation where they can land? It looks like absolutely none. No limitations. Danes get special points on turn 12 for occupying during their turn, so not end of stuff. So they can come in. They're going to do some minor raiding on turn 11. They're going to do some more raiding on turn 12, raiding and or invading. Not sure if it says must or may. But the Danes could land anywhere. So the Danes in the north could land as far north as there. The Frisians could come over here. These guys could, so they could get 4, 8, 4, 4, anywhere there. So maybe the Saxon wants to be a little defensive, defend his coast a little bit. Might as well take March. Might as well take it. See, he's next to the angles there. He wants to leave. Yeah, so Norfolk, you can't spread out too much. He's not that big. Yeah, so let's think what we want to do here. Obviously, we want to take that. Hit the poor Brigantes. I mean, the Saxon, as the red player, it's like, well, what makes more sense? Does it take them to draw them down here and try to punch and hurt the Danes early? Or if they come in here, maybe they'll hit the Brigantes and or the angles. Who knows? I think that's it. I really think they just want to attack this. So if they go in with 2, Huis, south. Now, technically, the guys in the Frisian could come here. So they couldn't come around to here and hit inland to Huis. They must raid. It said must raid. Must. That means they may not elect to just move one sea area over to rebase. They must raid. So, Huis, yep, they'll just leave 1. Maybe the Welsh want to pick there. I think the Welsh and the Irish are busy rumbling, so that looks good. 2 on the coast, 2 on the coast. Yeah, you don't want to tempt... The angles probably don't have any points down here for South Mercia, but I don't know. Go over and defend Norfolk, Sussex. They could come here. Yeah, let's take a little peek. Oh, we're doing the gamey thing of seeing what the angles get points for. Looking ahead. Juggle. All right. Turn 10, Bernicia, Cumbria, Huis, Lothian, North Mercia, Norfolk. Okay, there is a point down there for South Mercia, particularly Suffolk. Lindsay Marsh, Galloway, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they might be tempted to take South Mercia. I don't know if they'd want to spread out that far. To 2-pointers up there at York. The Pennons, Bernicia, Cheshire. It's mostly north. Well, Norfolk, they're not going to go way over there. But it is mostly up here. So... and if the Angles do decide to go into the middle of the board there, I think the Saxons might say, that's it. We're going to try to squeeze you out completely. So, yeah, maybe they can say, hey, we want to defend our coast. The other option could be here. Keep the darn Utes in check. Like, no, don't you come at me. I'm going to have at least 2 next to you here. If the Danes raid there, I mean, they might raid there. I mean, when do the Utes? The Utes should be able to grow next turn. So that's a thought. The Danes can say, hey, if I raid Norfolk and I leave, then the Utes could potentially grow and move in there. Yeah, that's a thought. So maybe the Saxons do want to defend there. Sure, we'll do that. All right, that's it. 1 Saxon battle here. All right, let's move this closer so you can all see the dice. And we'll tilt up. We'll zoom in. There's the battle here in March. So we have 2 attackers. The 5 or 6. 1 defender. 5 or 6. They all miss. The Angles, well, go ahead and retreat. Well, let's see. What do they have? They have 1. Yeah, they'll get 2. They'll be able to grow even if they have that. So by retreating, avoid they're down the odds. No sense in staying and fighting at bad odds just to try to get lucky. They'll still be able to grow, staying alive. They will have to spread it back out because they will be in excess of their overpopulation limit at the end of their turn. All right, that was the Saxons' turn. It is now the Angles, the last person of this turn. And so again, they get 1, 2. They had 1 saved up. They get to grow 1 army. 1 army. Offa, well, Oswy is removed. Offa, as it says, because they hold North Mercia at the start of the turn, they get Offa. Yeah, they definitely need to do some fighting because they've got... so they might want to fight back north some. Bernicia and... where is it? Make sure you can see it. Turn 10. Bernicia and Lothian are both worth 2 points each to them. They already got North Mercia. Norfolk's over there. They would have to go through Suffolk and Norfolk, so probably not that, but they could. They could over... No, they had to put 4 here, and that would be... Yeah. Well, let's zoom back out so you can see better. All right, so Norfolk's here. Suffolk and Norfolk, you have 2. They would have to put 4 here to overrun, and they have 6, gonna have 7. So they could have 4 and 3, but then they'd be way over population stacked. Assuming they didn't lose anything. So yeah, it's not a good idea. All right. So I think they're gonna ignore Norfolk. Pennons and York. So York they got for 2. North Mercia they've got for 2. They could potentially hit the Pennons. Cheshire is there now. Huis has only 1 in it. March is a 1-pointer. But they could use their leader there, saying, I'm going to try to kill some more armies. Maybe they use the leader in the pennants. Say, hey, let's grab that while we can. Have a little anchor spot in the mountains to hide out. The Danes are going to be coming around. Decisions. All right, points. Let's see. So they're going to have... so this is the question. They try to score maximum points now while they can. All these 2-pointers around. Do they go to Lothian? Now with the leader... Okay, so one guy here, so if they grew one in York, these could overrun to here. They could go in there, so they could try to take Lothian, Bernicia, and York, and Pennons. Is that a little crazy talk? Or do they want to hit Cheshire? Come here, come there. Cheshire and Lothian were both worth 2 each. 3, and we still have this one. 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 5, 6, 5, 6. They only go with 2 guys into the pennons. They normally need 6s, but the leader lets them hit on a 5 or 6. They're fighting 1 5 or 6 guy. That's kind of weak sauce, as we would say. But this is their chance to get in there. This is their chance to get in there. So maybe they go in with 3 guys, right? They go in there with 3 guys. Almost certain to get it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, see, if they fail to take that, they could fight till they die. Or if they lost one and they retreated, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They would at least, yeah. Let's try that. Let's try to get a spot of refuge. Now, remember, the Brigantes can submit to the Angles, but that's up here. 2 guys in Scotland plus Galloway. Anything down here cannot submit. Angles didn't get a chance to grow that big. They won't get a chance to grow that big unless they strike some strange deal with the devil and the Danes and the Angles completely cooperate. But I think the Danes to score a lot of points, they're going to have to do some fighting here. All right, let's do this one first. They can't retreat here. They could retreat there. So it's 2 attacking dice. This is normal 5s or 6s in Bernicia. Hit and hit. So there's blood. Brigante. 1 angle, but they did take it. Let's keep those. So now 3 dice with the leader in the pennons. So needed 5s or 6s. Normally a 6 in the Helens, but they got the leader. And the red die is hitting back on a 5 or 6. Can you see that okay? No, you probably can't. Miss all around. Yeah, the Brigantes are going to retreat, though. It's the end of this turn. Well, yeah, they're going to retreat up to here because less temptation for the Danes. They say, go this way. They're hoping not this way. All right, so let's go ahead and score up all the points now. We've often done that off camera. We're at under 20 minutes. So we'll quickly score the points for folks. Turn 10. So start with the Scots. Do the purple guys first. The Scots. The same as turn 7. So Dalriada. 2 Dunedin, 2 Skye, 2. They're in Dunedin and Dalriada. So they get 4. 4 for the Scots. 4 for the Scots. That's the only purple guy. So they go from 58 to to 62. I'm writing that down. All right. Next up is the green player. The Welsh have Powys, each other areas in Wales, each other area outside of Wales. They don't have anything outside of Wales, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points for the Welsh. Caledonians, the Caledonians. Hebrides and Orkneys, 2 each. They have those. Caithness has 1. Dalriada, no, they do not. They do have Caithness and Moray. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 4 different provinces. So they continue to get 6. It was a little harder for them. They actually had an extra province to get the same score. The green beans include the Utes. Yes, I called the green team the green beans. So turn 10, the Utes have Kent for 2. They don't get any points for having Lindsay, but it's 2. It's 2. 2 is better than nothing. All right, green guys, 2 there. The Danes can start scoring points next turn. So 12, 14, so they go from 31 to 45. They have been in the cellar the entire game. All right, next is the red guys. The red guys. Oh boy, here we go. Points. Points, 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 points. Start with the Brigantes. They've been around the longest, even though they didn't get to score points. They did score some for killing Romans, but then they had to submit, and they got nothing. All right, so Brigantes. Get that glare off there. Ooh, Strathclyde, 4. Nice. Cumbria, 3. They've got that too, 7. Bernicia, no, they lost it. Dunedin, no. Galloway, yes. York, no, 2. So, 7, 9, each other area. So Lothian and Cheshire is 2 more. Is that right? 11 points. 4 for Strathclyde. 3 for Cumbria is 7. Galloway is worth 2 is 9. 10, 11 points for the Brigantes. Okay, that's their biggest score yet. That's huge. They've scored 3 one turn and 6 on another. All right, the Irish. 1 point only for all these. Avalon, yes. Cheshire, no. Cornwall, yes. Cumbria, no. Devon, yes. And they were kicked out of Wales mainland. So they got 1, 2, 3. It's better than nothing. They've gotten 3 one turn, 6 another 3. So they're not too bad, but not as good as they once were. All right. That's the Irish. Now the Saxon. Oh boy. This is going to be their last huge turn, point-wise, because after this, they have a chance to get some special king points at the very end. But, so far they've been scoring those Brett Valda points. That's been adding up. So, they do not have Avalon. That's in Irish hands. They do have the Downlands. We count as the Downlands, Essex, Huis, Sussex, Wessex. They have all those. 10 points. They did take March. South Mercia, 10, 11, 12. Norfolk, 13. Suffolk, 14. They did get the target 14 points that we discussed. They also had 2 points from it. Oh, that's 16 total points. The red player and the Norsemen are going to start coming in on for turn 12 for possible points. So, wow, 30 points this turn. Yeah, 11 for the Brigantes, 3 for the Irish, that's 14, plus 16 for the Saxons. 14 is 30. They rocketed up to 77 points. They are now 15 points ahead of Purple. Purple only got 4, went from 58 to 62. Red, who was at 47, right, was 11 behind. And they scored 30 points here. Holy moly. Mackerel. All right. So everyone's in shock. Says, oh my God, we got a beat on the red dude. He's too strong. All right, Picts. The Picts, the little Picts, they only got one preach area held. They get 3. The Angles. All right, they get some decent points-ish. 2 for Benicia. 2 for York. 2 for the Pennons. 2 for North Mercia. So they got 8. They got 4 provinces worth 2 points each. It's about as good as they could have done with what they got at this point. So, yeah, 8 points for the Angles. Now, the blue guys are going to get the Normans, but they don't come on until the next last turn, turn 15. So 11, I got to move the camera a little bit so I can see the stuff. 1141 is 52. So, they're doing better than the last place guys, the Greens, but they're pretty far behind. The Angles would have needed to score more. The Picts could have, should have, would have maybe done a little better. The Belgians, they scored some flash-in-the-pan points way back then. They scored 6 total, but then they got knocked out. But the Belgians wouldn't have been scoring anything in this mid-range anyway. There's no points for them until like the very end of the game. There's actually like through turn 7 and then like nothing. But the Normans will come for the blue, so we'll have to see. So it is now scores of 45 for the green, 52 for the blue, 62 for the purple, and 77 for the red. So the spread between each jump is 7 points, then 10 points, then 15 points. Wow. All right. So red has a target painted. All right. That is the end of turn 10. Turn 11 will see some major action. So we have 2 new forces coming on to make the world more exciting in the island of Britain as the sweep of history continues in the game of Britannia. Britannia. So this is Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Man. It is now after midnight, and I am saying to all you good folks out there, take care and ciao.